Imagine a world where the last train home is your only escape, but it never arrives. Sounds chilling, doesn't it? Welcome to the eerie world of the subway system when the clock strikes midnight. The once bustling station, filled with the hustle and bustle of humanity, now stands empty and silent. The only sound is the unsettling quiet, broken occasionally by the flickering lights, casting long, dancing shadows on the cold, tiled floors. In the distance you can hear the echoes, the ghostly remnants of the day's chatter, the laughter, the arguments, the hurried goodbyes, all reduced to hushed whispers that seem to tell 1,000 untold stories. Each echo is a reminder of the world outside, a world that seems so far away when you're standing alone on a deserted platform. Now picture our protagonist, a typical person like you or me who, for reasons unknown, has missed the last train. The realization dawns slowly, creeping up like a shadow as the station empties out. It's a nightmare scenario, one that we've all thought about but never truly believed would happen. But here he is, stranded in the belly of the city, surrounded by nothing but steel, concrete, and the eerie silence. As he stands there, the seconds turn into minutes, and the minutes into hours. The neon glow of the station clock is a constant reminder of the passing time. The hands move steadily, inching closer to midnight, and with each passing minute the station seems to grow darker, colder, more menacing. The flickering lights seem to flicker a bit more erratically, the shadows seem to grow a bit longer, and the echoes seem to whisper a bit louder. And then, it happens. The clock strikes midnight. Our protagonist finds himself alone in a world that was once familiar, but is now alien and threatening. The bustling station has transformed into a haunted house of echoing silence and flickering shadows. He's not just stranded, he's trapped in an echo chamber of his own fears. As the echoes bounce off the cold, tiled walls, one question lingers in the air. What happens next? There's nothing scarier than what you can't see. A simple yet profound truth that our protagonist is about to discover in the depths of the subway station. Imagine being surrounded by the familiar humdrum of a subway, and then, out of nowhere, a cold gust of wind sweeps past you. Not the usual draft that signals an approaching train, but something different, something otherworldly. It sends a shiver down your spine, raising goosebumps on your skin. It's as if the very air around you is charged with an unseen energy, an invisible specter that's making its presence known. Now imagine the lights around you flicker, once, twice, thrice. Each flicker plunges you into a temporary abyss of darkness, playing tricks on your mind. Your eyes strain to adjust, to identify the source of this anomaly, but they find nothing. Nothing but the dimly lit, seemingly endless subway tunnel stretching out before you. And in the distance, you hear them. Footsteps. Not the hurried clatter of commuters rushing to catch their train, or the slow drag of late-night stragglers. No, these footsteps are different. They echo through the empty subway station, growing louder with each passing second, yet they never seem to get any closer. It's as if they're stuck in a loop, forever approaching but never arriving. This is what our protagonist is experiencing. He stands there, alone in the subway station, enveloped in a chilling silence broken only by the haunting footsteps. His heart pounds in his chest like a drum, his breaths become shallow and rapid. Fear, pure and primal, courses through his veins. As each minute passes, the unseen presence seems to grow stronger. The cold gusts become more frequent, the light flickers more violently, and the distant footsteps grow louder. Yet, despite his mounting fear, our protagonist remains rooted to the spot. His eyes dart around, desperately seeking the source of his terror, but it remains elusive, hidden in the shadows. As the minutes pass, the unseen presence seems to grow stronger, and our protagonist's fear deepens. Yet he stands his ground, trapped in a chilling dance with the unseen. The subway station is alive with echoes from the past. Peeling back the layers of time, we uncover the chilling truth hidden beneath the bustling subway station. Its foundations are steeped in history, a history that dates back to a time before the city, before the subway, to an era where the land was sacred, a burial ground. Imagine the surprise of our protagonist when he stumbles upon this eerie revelation. He's not just standing on concrete and steel, but on stories, memories, and the resting place of forgotten souls. The hum of the subway, once a comforting constant, now mingles with whispers from the past, resonating through the station. The whispers are not just echoes bouncing off the cold, tiled walls. No, they are conversations, snippets of lives once lived. There are soft, sorrowful sighs, and sharp, sudden cries of anguish that pierce the steady drone of the subway. The protagonist tries to dismiss these sounds, attributing them to the wind or the mechanical groans of the subway. But the more he listens, the more he hears. The voices grow clearer, more distinct. He can distinguish words now, names even. Then comes the laughter. A chilling, mirthless sound that reverberates around the station. It's a laughter that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, a laughter that sends shivers down his spine. It's the kind of laughter that stays with you, that you hear even when you're alone in the silence of your home. And as the laughter fades, it's replaced by a deafening silence. A silence so profound it drowns out the hum of the subway, the distant rumble of trains. It's in this silence that our protagonist realizes the profound truth. The subway station, a place of transit and transience, is also a place of permanence, a place where echoes from the past are trapped, forever reverberating through the tunnels. And in the midst of these echoes, he finds himself not alone, but surrounded by the spectral inhabitants of the station's past. The haunting echoes grow louder, and our protagonist realizes he is not alone. In the heart of the subway station, the souls of the departed seek their vengeance. The protagonist, once a mere traveler, now stands as an unwilling confidant to the tormented souls that inhabit the subway's grim underbelly. Each spirit, a stark silhouette against the hollow darkness, seems to be an embodiment of despair and sorrow. Their faces, once human, now bear the weight of their untold stories. One by one they approach our protagonist, their chilling presence felt before their apparitions fully form. The first, a young woman, her spectral visage etched with the agony of her premature demise. Her voice, a whispering echo, shares a tragic tale of a life cut short on the tracks below. The protagonist shudders, not from fear, but from the sheer weight of her anguish. Next, an old man materializes, his spectral form stooped with age and regret. His tale, one of lost time and forgotten dreams, resonates through the damp, cold air of the subway station. The protagonist feels a chill, not from the ghostly presence but from the cold reality that this could be anyone's fate. A child, no more than 10, appears last. His innocent face is a jarring contrast to the horror that surrounds him. His story, a heartbreaking account of a game of hide-and-seek gone fatally wrong, tugs at the heartstrings. The protagonist's eyes well up, not from fear, but from the stark injustice of it all. As each soul reveals their story, they seem less like vengeful spirits and more like victims of circumstance. Their torment is not of their own making, but a product of the harsh, unforgiving world they once inhabited. The protagonist feels their pain, their despair. He sees them not as specters to fear, but souls to sympathize with. In this subterranean world of lost souls, our protagonist learns a harsh truth. The real horror lies not in the supernatural but in the tragedies that befall ordinary people in their everyday lives. As the tormented souls reveal their stories, our protagonist's fear turns into sympathy. The only way out is through. Our protagonist, brimming with courage, decides to engage the tormented souls haunting this forsaken subway station. He realizes that their unrest is what's keeping him trapped in this eerie underground labyrinth. With each step he takes, the chilling air around him thickens. The harrowing cries of the lost souls echo through the station, their pleas for release bouncing off the cold stone walls. But he is undeterred. He knows he must face his fear, not just for himself, but for these lost souls as well. He begins to offer words of comfort, his voice calm and reassuring amidst the tumultuous atmosphere. He speaks of love, of forgiveness, of letting go. His words cut through the cacophony, reaching out to the souls trapped in their unending torment. His voice quivers as he starts performing rituals. He recites ancient chants, their mystical syllables reverberating through the station, a beacon of hope in the darkness. He lights candles, their soft glow casting eerie shadows that dance and flicker on the walls. He offers tokens of peace, a white rose, a silver locket, a handwritten letter, each item a symbol, a promise of release, of peace. As he continues, the air around him begins to change. The cries soften, the temperature rises, and the oppressive dread that once filled the station starts to dissipate. One by one, the tormented souls find their peace, their spectral forms fading into nothingness, finally free from their eternal suffering. Just as the last soul fades away, the sound of an approaching train fills the station. The protagonist, drained but triumphant, steps onto the platform just as the train arrives. He boards the train, leaving behind the now silent station. As the souls find their peace, the train finally arrives. But one must wonder, was it all just a figment of his imagination, or did he truly help those lost souls find their way?